All right, Larry Krueger with you on the Krug Show. Of course, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. Check out Pig and a Pickle in their 2 spots. They're open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week in both Emeryville and Corte Madera. It's the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue you're going to find. Get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon, go say hi to Mary, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. They always love to hear from Krug Show fans. All right, let's do the good and the bad from training camp practice number 8. And we'll start with the bad. There's always more good than bad in these practices, in my opinion. But we'll start with the bad. And, some people would say that anytime teammates fight, that it's a bad thing. But, I mean, I've been around enough training camps to know that when guys fight, it's bad if it gets out of hand. But it's not bad if it's just guys competing hard, because that means it means something to them. That means that they give a damn. That means that they're tired of hitting each other. And so I'll put this down as a bad just because Alex Barrett and Leroy Watson in the one-on-ones started jawing at each other, and they went nose to nose for about 10 or 15 seconds, and there was some bad blood there. But at the end of the day, I mean, I got to be honest. I actually think it's a good thing. And the coaches, they'll tell you, we don't like to see these guys getting into it. But football is a fight, and you got to be willing to drop the gloves and fight if you're going to play it. And Barrett and Watson, I think Alex Barrett had beaten Leroy Watson in the one-on-one and may have been letting him know about it. And Watson, these guys tangle. It's physical, and they jawed face to face for a good 15 seconds or so. No blows were thrown. Guys were yelling, "Hey, separate!" But you never like to see that too much, even though I would swear that the coaches actually love it. Leroy Watson also was beaten by Taco Charlton in the one-on-ones at least once, maybe twice. And once again, in these one-on-ones between teammates, it's like, well, is it good that Taco Charlton won the one-on-one, or is it bad that Leroy Watson was beaten by Charlton in the one-on-one? So it's a good and a bad situation, right? But Charlton looks fantastic. Watson looks raw. Watson hasn't been playing offensive tackle very long, and here comes Taco, who's been in the league 6 years, and he's, normally played as about 270, 275. He's 260 right now. He's looking lightning fast. He spin moved Watson and just put him in the blender, went right on by him. And then if Watson wants to feel better about it, Ilm Manning time he went against Taco beat Ilm Manning like a drum as well. So maybe it's not really a bad thing as much as Taco Charlton is looking great in the one-on-ones, but it wasn't a good rep for Leroy. It wasn't a good rep for Ilm. Barrett, got stonewalled by Colton McKivitz. McKivitz is looking really, really good as a pass protector, I think. And Barrett's an excellent speed rusher, but, man, McKivitz definitely beat him on 1 or 2 reps that I saw in the one-on-ones. Joey Fisher, who's an undrafted free agent offensive guard, got beat by Hargrave in the one-on-ones. And Hargrave is just an awesome pass rusher. I don't even really blame Fisher that bad, but I put it down as a bad thing for Fisher. As far as what's actually bad, well, there's some backup D linemen. Robert Beal Jr., Daryl Johnson, Austin Bryant, Kalia Davis. These guys didn't practice today. These guys need to be practicing. Now, some of them it might be a rest day, but, man, to me, I got some big questions about the 49er backup defensive linemen, both at end and at tackle, and all 4 of those guys need to be practicing and showing what they can do on a regular basis, and they weren't practicing today, so that's never a good thing. We also saw George Kittle have a drop, kind of an uncharacteristic drop on a perfect dime from Brock Purdy that hit him in the hands. There was also a play where Ayuk dove for a pass and dropped it. I don't know if I would call it really bad, because it would have been an incredible effort by Ayuk if he had made the play, because it was a diving catch on an out pattern, but it did hit him in the hands, and he did drop it, and the defender did not get his hands on the ball. So Ayuk had a drop, Kittle had a drop. I put those in the bad category. If there was one bad thing that is in any way a theme, it's that this defense without Nick Bosa doesn't look nearly as good And that's not a surprise by any stretch, but when I'm looking at the completion percentages today from the quarterbacks, if I'm Steve Wilks, those are way too high. I mean, 67% from Purdy, and he really was even higher percentage than that in the move the ball drill. Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen both completed 86% of their passes. Darnold was 12 of 14. Allen was 6 of 7. Trey Lance completed 8 of 11, so he was at 73%. Those are high completion percentage numbers against the number one defense in the NFL. I'm sure that's not a trend that Steve Wilks wants to see. Now, there were some really good moments for the defense. Talanoa Hufanga, as we get to the good side of things, he had a PBU or a pass breakup where he really looked good, broke on the football. Deshaun Jameson and Demo Lenore are both looking outstanding at corner. In fact, Steve Wilks talked about Jameson after practice, and I asked him, how does a guy like that go undrafted? And he's like, hey, it happens every year. Teams just overlook guys, and but the Niners are thrilled they have Deshaun Jameson because Jameson is just balling out. He's got tremendous coverage. He can mirror receivers. He's played 5 years at Texas, so he's seen it all. This guy is an experienced rookie with a lot of savvy and a lot of man-to-man cover skills. So you got Deshaun Jameson who had a PBU. You had Demo Lenore who had his daily PBU. He's getting his hands on a number of footballs this summer. Taco Charlton is just, not only did he abuse some of the backup offensive linemen in the one-on-ones, then in the team portion, he had a tackle for a loss. He looked excellent. Absolutely excellent on the field. Now, he did tire as this long practice went on. This was the toughest practice yet for the 49ers in this camp. They had a lot of reps in this thing, and he looked really gassed at the end. But Taco Charlton's weight looks like around 260, and he is flying off the football, and he's making some of these Niner offensive linemen look really, really bad. Alex Barrett had a sack today of Sam Darnold. Jalen Graham, the rookie linebacker from Purdue, you heard Steve Wilks talk about Graham. Graham, flashed a couple times today at practice, and Wilks was singing his praises after the practice was over. He's looking good. In fact, that competition at linebacker is going to be absolutely intense because Graham's playing well. Marcelino made a couple more plays today. He's playing well. D. Winters is flying around. He's playing well. And obviously, Warner and Greenlaw are going nowhere. So if I'm Curtis Robinson or if I'm Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, if I'm Oren Burks, I'm thinking, wow, I better really show up in the preseason or I could wind up elsewhere. So that might be the most intense competition in camp right now. Tayshaun Gibson had an interception of Brock Purdy, a terrible ball that just kind of floated in the air, and Gibson picked it right out of the air. And then Spencer Wage's really coming on. I mean, this guy just continues to he looked good in the one-on-ones. He's active. He's working hard. He's got a high motor. It revs really high. They're probably going to try to sneak him through waivers and put him on the practice squad. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Ayuk, Debo, TDP, Mason, Christian McCaffrey, all these weapons on offense are looking really good. Debo scored a touchdown. I think Ayuk did as well. TDP's running hard. Mason has not fumbled the last couple days, which is good because he did put a couple balls on the carpet early on. CMC, it looks explosive. Between Ayuk, Debo, and CMC, you got 3-star offensive weapons who look like they're primed for career years. Then you add TDP playing well, Mason playing well. Obviously, George Kittle's a star. I mean, the Niners have a lot of offensive weapons, and they should be able to put up some points this year for sure. All right, hope you liked our video on the good and the bad. We're here at Levi's Stadium. We're going to head home for the night. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. We'll be back at it tomorrow with training camp practice number 9. Join me tonight for a live stream. Matt Barrows is going to stop by from The Athletic. We'll break down the first 8 practices of training camp later on this evening. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.